Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some things to talk about today that I think are worth noting, so let's just jump straight to the video. Starting off, we're talking about Jared Goff, and could this be his MVP year? Hey, it's a possibility. He's not a dual threat quarterback, but that's always a possibility. Last year, we saw an MVP level performance from Goff already. The numbers backed it up, but the run game stole the show in most games. Us getting it going with Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. That two-headed dragon was just too much for viewers. And while Jared Goff did still have some crazy stuff and some crazy performances, like his no miss game against the Seahawks, honestly, he didn't have the amount of numbers he needed to get ahead of guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, things of that nature. But with more passing yards likely this year due to the change in the coordinators, I think this could be a definite chance for Goff to steal the show with his passing game. Goff is entering his fourth year in Detroit and has full command of the offense. Expect him to make more audibles, identify pressure pre-snap, and take advantage of mismatches with more confidence than ever, right? I think it's going to be a really good, fifth year, not fourth year. Pardon me, guys. But I think he's honestly going to get more chances here to do a lot more with this offense. The improved chemistry he also has with his weapons like Jamison Williams is poised for a breakout year, as he's going to be that crazy vertical threat along with guys who are younger / the rookies like what's his name? Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta wasn't as involved last year, but I think he's going to get a lot more passes going his way now this season with that passing game being more prevalent. I think Goff is already elite timing with guys like St. Brown, so he can integrate some of those other guys a lot more now, right? They already got that insane connection, and with cornerbacks looking more towards St. Brown, it's going to free up a lot more targets for him on the other side of the field. The Lions also continue to invest in the O-line, one of the best in the NFL. Goff thrives when he's clean. We've noticed that. There's always that, big discussion. Goff can't thrive when there's pressure in his face. He can't do well when he's getting guys up in his grill. But he had a passer rating of 105 plus when not pressured last season. So he's a pocket passer. Okay, that's fine. He's not one of the, run around, extend the play for 10 seconds kind of players. And you don't always need a guy like that when he's throwing frozen ropes to dudes 80 yards down the field. Jamison Williams. So I think the Lions are also now in a Super Bowl or bust mode, right? We're talking about how that window's starting to close, if it's closing at all for the Lions, which means often that the quarterback's going to get the ball more often than not in scenarios like this. I think even looking in 2024, Goff improved touchdown to interception ratio, completion percentage, and red zone efficiency. I don't see reasons why he would go down at all, especially with a heavier passing game coordinator. I think he's going to honestly just continue to improve those statistics. Speaking of statistics, let's talk about the last 3 years. In 2022, Goff had a 65.1 completion percentage. He had 4,438 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions with a rating of 99.3. In 2023, we really start to see the cogs turning for the offense. He had a 67.3 completion rate, 4,575 yards, 30 touchdowns for 12 interceptions, giving a 97.9 quarterback rating. And then last year was where we really saw Jared Goff start to click on this offense a lot, right? He had a 72.4 completion percentage, the most he's had in his career in the NFL. He had 4,629 yards, which I believe is also, it's one of his highest ever. I think it's his most on the Lions. 37 touchdowns, which holy moly, 37 touchdowns, and then 12 interceptions. So the interceptions aren't great, obviously. He had a bunch of them in that one game against the Texans, just a note. So it wasn't like they were being crazy across all games, but 37 touchdowns, the most he's had in any season as a player in the NFL, with a quarterback rating of 111.8, which is, again, his highest quarterback rating in the NFL. He had a crazy year. He had an absolutely insane year. He also had a receiving touchdown in the week against the Seahawks. So I see Jared Goff only, continuing to get better here. I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, well, Ben Johnson was the main reason for that success. And you may be right there, but he was a first round pick for a reason, and he can do what he can do without a coordinator controlling everything, right? I still think he has the potential to go and just be great on his own, because he's shown that when times get tough, he can lock in and secure tough moments. I think Jared Goff's going to absolutely be insane this year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are we going to see an MVP season for him? Is he going to be a top 3 contender, or is he going to take a step back without Ben Johnson? Let me guys know what you think. But we're going to move into our second topic of the day. We're talking about some more game predictions for the season. I think these are really fun to talk about. I love to predict games. I think it's really exciting too when you get something right and go, what'd I say? So let's talk about it real quick. We're talking about the Bengals and the Chiefs this time. Let's start with the Bengals. I see this game being an absolute shootout. At the Bengals means that their offense is going to be coming out swinging, obviously, but the Bengals haven't added much, if anything, to help their defense, which struggled last year. Pro Football Network had their defense ranked at 28th overall, which isn't great when their offense was doing the most last year, right? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase were absolutely insane, especially in fantasy if you had to ever face them in fantasy football. But we've improved our passing defense a lot. Let's note that, right? I still think even though Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to be a force, our guys in the secondary are going to absolutely put up a fight. I think they're going to put up a fight for sure. And our edge rushers are going to be getting to Joe Burrow a lot as well. I think that's something to definitely note. Hutch is going to have a field day there. I think we're going to obviously win this game. I say obviously. I'm a Lions fan. Of course, I'm going to say obviously. I think they're going to win this game, but expect a high scoring game. I think honestly we're just the better rounded team overall, but this is still going to be a shootout. Expect to see a lot of offense on the field, right? Expect to see the offense going crazy and then the defense kind of being out there for not too long. Maybe there's a few stops on each side, but I see the offense really clicking on all cylinders here. I think our offense is going to take advantage of the weakened Bengals secondary and their defensive line not having much weapons besides Trey Hendrickson, who is still, kind of just I don't know what's going on with him, right? So I honestly think this is going to be a win for the Lions, but expect an exciting game to watch for sure. Make sure you have this one on the TV. And the second game against the Chiefs, I think this one's going to be a good one too. It's at Arrowhead Stadium, and this is the rematch we have been waiting to see since the season opener 2 years ago, where the Lions came in, showed that we're not the same old Lions anymore, and beat the Super Bowl champs at home. Like the game against the Bengals, I see this one being another cool, close shootout, but I think the Lions are going to come out on top for this one. The Chiefs are still a great team with lots of weapons. You can never downplay guys like Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce's obviously a lot older now, but he's still going to be in. I'm sure he'll get a few third down conversions. That's just what he does. I think the Chiefs have great weapons on both sides of the ball, which is the difference here between the Bengals game where they really only have that strong offense. But that didn't really stop the Lions 2 years ago, and now we're a better team, so I can only see it going better for that Lions defense. A big thing to watch is going to be Mahomes and making the tackle, right? We're going to have to get to Mahomes. We're going to have to make sure he's not able to extend the play for 15 seconds and get these random third and longs, fourth and longs, all that good stuff. The game against the Ravens is going to be a very telltale sign of how that's going to go, right? We're going to have to see how we deal with a guy like Lamar Jackson, who's debatably better at escaping the pocket and doing all that kind of stuff. So if we can do good against containing Lamar Jackson, I don't think we should have to worry about Patrick Mahomes necessarily, but we're going to have to wait and see for that. Mahomes' best receiver is also likely to be out. While the league hasn't announced the specific length of the suspension, it's expected to be a multi-game ban for receiver Rashee Rice due to his involvement in a multi-car crash and subsequent legal issues. Rice has recently sentenced to 30 days in jail and 5 years of probation for his role in this crash. So that's not good either, right? Rashee Rice was out for a majority of the last season because on interception, he got tackled by Patrick Mahomes and some other guys and ended up hurting his leg real bad, and he was out. And that didn't do any favors for the Chiefs either. The running backs are solid. I will note that the running backs on the Chiefs are solid, and they kind of have that back and forth thing, kind of like we do, and that creates a lot of opportunities. But we have a great run-stopping defensive line, and we have Jack Campbell in that linebacker core. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about the running backs so much as we will, quarterback plays, quick passes, things of that nature. Chiefs defense is going to be a bit of a problem with guys like Nick Bolton, Karlaftis, Chris Jones. So the O-line is really going to have to stand tall in this game to keep Goff safe and let him get going, because we just talked about how when he's not getting pressured, he's good. But I honestly think this one's going to be a really close one. I think the Lions are going to come out on top, and it's going to be another must-watch game if you're a Lions fan. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We're going to move on to our third topic today. Just quickly, just a quick little fun topic. We're talking about some more Lions entering the 100 club. So Sam Laporta started us off this year, ranking number 4 overall. Kirby Joseph was next, then placing number 71 after being the league's interception leader last season. And now we have Aiden Hutchinson, who's placed at number 55. Pretty good if you consider he missed most of the season last year due to that broken leg. And as the list nears the top half, there's almost certainty that there's going to be at least 4 more Lions making the list. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown are nearly guaranteed to make top 50. Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs are also pretty safe bets if you ask me. So I think it's going to be really cool to see where they place. Detroit will have a total of 7 players if that happens in the top 100 list, which will be the highest total ever for the franchise. Last year, Detroit only had 5. So look for that. I think it should be super exciting. Just wanted to touch on that real quick. Always good to have a bunch of our guys in that top 100 list. Shows that we got some absolute dogs on the team, and we're going to continue to have dogs on the team going forward. So let me know what you guys think about that. Where do you think guys like Jahmyr Gibbs are going to place? Top 20 maybe? Where's Amon-Ra St. Brown going to place? You think maybe top 10? It might be a stretch, but it's also, not totally out of the question. Let me know what you guys think down below. And with that being said, let's move into our fourth and final topic. I just wanted to make that a little small top. I thought that was cool to note that we got more guys flowing in, and Aiden Hutchinson, making 55 is pretty cool. I think he's absolutely going to blow people's expectations out of the waters, obviously. But now we're talking about the defense being better than the offense. This is a bit of a hot take, right? I think there's definitely a chance the defense could take a step up here and be possibly as good, if not a little bit better than our offense this year, which is kind of unheard of for the Lions in the last 5 years. So the Lions made aggressive moves to fix their defensive weakness, which was pass coverage with guys like DJ Reed. They kept lockup corner Amik Robertson with that 2-year contract. And Terrion Arnold, going into his second year, feels a lot more confident in his ability at that starting position. He cleaned up a lot of his man coverage mistakes late in the season last year, right? There were a lot of flags coming out, stuff like that. He was getting burnt a couple of times, but he was a rookie in a starting position at one of the hardest positions in football. So with a grain of salt. But with players like Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, that ball hawking free safety, improved depth at all the positions, and secondary looks like a potential top 10 unit. Really, it does. I think we are looking really good in the secondary, and that gives me a kind of a deep breath as a guy who is used to, okay, the offense is doing great, and the defense has let them get scored. Like now it's I can take a breath and kind of enjoy watching the defensive side of the ball. We also retained McLean McNeil, who returned around October/November. Right, he's going to miss a little bit of the season, but I think he'll be back, and hopefully he stays healthy and has that motor going that we've seen him use in the past. And we added young talent, like we've mentioned, Tyleik Williams from Ohio State, who stuffs the run and is really good at collapsing the pocket, adding that extra pressure to the interior side of the defensive line. So the pass rush will be elite as long as Davenport stays healthy, but even if he doesn't, we've mentioned possible trade possibilities that can obviously just go and fix that right away. So I'm not too worried about our pass rush this year. Well, there's all the speculation of, oh God, is he really as good as he was? Is he really better than he was last year? Everyone's saying he is. I think he's going to just be a dog like he's continued to be. He's shown how resilient he's been. He's been in this whole recovery process, and I don't think we have anything to worry about there. I honestly think that our pieces we have this year are going to make this defense look a lot scarier. The unit is built to rotate as well, which is something to note. Stay fresh during deep games, help them finish strong. With more talent and continuity, the system should click earlier and elevate the unit further. I like that now we have this rotation possibility. It's not just, okay, stay healthy, do your job, because if you don't stay healthy, we're going to have huge holes and we're going to give them way too much time. I like the rotation strategy. And we have an improved run defense and tackling. Tackling was always a big thing for us, but we've seen it just get better in the last few years. This unit ranked poorly in early 2023, but by 2024, they were a top 3 run defense, which is just awesome because getting a run going is half the reason offenses are able to get clicking. If that trend continues, they may force more 3rd and longs. It can allow the defense to dominate the time of possession, and forcing the pass in those long scenarios is dangerous against a secondary that has just continued to improve. Our defense secondary. I think the defense can also feast on weaker quarterback play within our division, right? So we got Jordan Love, who's good, but he's inconsistent. We have Bears breaking in a rookie quarterback still at Caleb Williams, who hasn't really shown us anything great in training camp so far, and Vikings potentially rebuilding still. I don't think JJ McCarthy is going to be anything special this year, guys. He might just be average at best, or we're going to see something crazy out of him. You never know with the Vikings. We thought the same thing last year, and then Sam Darnold just came in and was him, apparently. So I think offense isn't necessarily going to take a step back. I want to talk about more of the defense here. I don't think the offense is going to take a step back by any means, but with the team developing how it looks, it's going to be a very exciting defensive year for the Detroit Lions. Not to say the offense won't be as well, but I think we can rest a little more assured this year. Knock on wood, everyone stays healthy, and we keep this rotation going and get Aleem McNeil back. I think we'll be great. Don't let any of the big injuries fool you guys right now. I think we're still going to look good this year, and it should be an exciting year. But look at the time. We have run out of it. So thank you guys so much for watching Lions Latest today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. If you made it to this point of the video, what do you think about this take? Do you think the defense is going to have a better season than the offense? Do you think they're going to be just as good? And with the top 100 club, where do you think guys like Jahmyr Gibbs are going to end up placing? So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.